When you pull up to church, you might see that I have boats in my window. In the window of the pastor's office, if you look up, you'll see some boats there. And this is the first boat that I got, and it's also my favorite. This boat is called the HMS Victory, which was a real boat, and HMS just means that it was a British boat. And this particular boat was captained by a guy named Admiral Nelson, and Admiral Nelson was in charge of this, and I guess he wore a coat with all kinds of like fancy medals and doodads on it, and a lot of the people who were captains of boats back then wouldn't, because then they'd stand out. And so one day they were on this boat, and they were fighting against another navy. And the other navy said, well, we'll just aim for the guy that's all sparkly and wearing the really fancy coat. And so that was the end of this boat. But the reason I'm telling you this story is that the folks that they were fighting then were the French. They were fighting off against the French in that instance. Or maybe the Spanish, I can't remember exactly. But they were fighting against some other country. And the interesting thing about it now is that all those countries are friends now. You know, they have their differences, and they do things a bit different, and they speak different languages, but all the countries, whenever we are in history class or something and showing the stories of the boats, chances are that the countries that were disagreeing then, that they're friends now. That they were able to overcome the differences and all the fighting that they did and all the bad stuff they did to get to one another. They were able to overcome all that and be friends again. That kind of happens in today's reading. Right, because we have the, last time we talked about how there was going to be the years where there wasn't enough food, but Joseph was able to help the Pharaoh plan so that there would be enough food. Well, when it came time that there wasn't enough food, other people around the world were like, we need some help. Let's go to Egypt. There's enough food there. The guy, the Pharaoh's advisor helped them make sure that they'd have enough food. And one of those groups of people that's looking for some help is Joseph's family. Now, the last time Joseph saw his family was when his brothers got really jealous of him and threw him in a pit and then sold him to some people who were walking by, and then he ended up in jail. And that's what they did to him. The last time he saw them, they were being really mean to him. The last time he saw them, they were treating him really unfairly. And you could think that maybe he'd hold a grudge. You could think that maybe he'd be really upset with them and, take it as an opportunity to hurt them like they hurt him. People think that way sometimes, don't they? That someone did something bad to me, so I'm going to do something bad back to them. And that's not what Joseph does. What Joseph does is he ends up helping his family. He ends up helping his brothers. He ends up helping make sure that they have enough. He ends up making sure that they're taken care of. So just like these countries were able to get over and get past the fights and the battles and the wars that they were having, that's how Joseph is able to get past the grudge and the hurt and the hard feelings he has between himself and his brothers who treated him so poorly. I think it can serve as a reminder for us that no matter the challenges that we face in our lives and the hurt feelings that we have with other people, that we can always find forgiveness for them. And they can find forgiveness for us too. We can overcome the challenges that we have, we can overcome the disagreements that we have, and we can forgive one another. If Joseph could forgive his family, and Admiral Nelson and the British could forgive the people they were going to war with, then we can forgive the people that upset us too. It's not always easy, but it is what God wants us to do, because God wants us to love one another and love God. See you next week, everyone.